welcome to Journey Through the Generations. And we are back. We got another episode. RootsTech isn't over yet.
It is not. I'm finally rested. But yes, no, we still have more RootsTech information for you.
Yeah, so what we're going to do today is just give you our recap of RootsTech, what we thought about it, some of the things that happened, kind of talk about the expo hall and classes and all those sorts of things. Hopefully, what you'll get from this is that you should be in Salt Lake City for RootsTech next
absolutely.
year. So,
absolutely. I think we should just start at the beginning. It was a hybrid. It was both in person and virtual. We had the opportunity to actually go to Salt Lake City.
Before you finish that, let me take it just one more step before starting the
I don't know where you're going with this.
Before the conference started. You will when I start talking about this. Okay, so of course we had to fly to Salt Lake City from where we are. And we had a direct flight. Everything was great. We had no issues. Everything was good. We got there on time.
Yes, everything was great.
Well, it turns out that because of the construction that they're doing at the airport, we had to walk a long way. I don't even know how far it was, but I know my watch alerted me and said, "Hey, it looks like you're exercising."
And we were.
Would you like for us to record, your workout?
We absolutely were.
And we had our bags, our personal items, our backpacks and stuff. And we were carrying that stuff.
And I had my coat on.
Yeah.
So it had to be at least 2 miles.
It was such a long way. I have no idea, but I got my steps in that day for sure. So I brought that up to say, if you go to Salt Lake City, but anytime between now and next RootsTech, then beware. If you go to Terminal B, as in boy, you're going to have a long way to walk.
Yeah, you're going to get your steps in for sure.
Yep, and I'm praying that by 2024, they have that construction figured out, and we do not have to do all that walking.
Absolutely.
Or else I'm going to get me a scooter. Anyway, okay. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, it's fine.
So let's start over and go from there. How it started.
Okay.
Let's go.
We had the opportunity to attend the in-person conference in Salt Lake City, and this is the first time that we have been back since 2020. And when I say it was a breath of fresh air being back, it was so nice, and I was so excited to be there. What were your thoughts about being back? Just about being back
in general? Oh yeah, I didn't know what to expect, right? It's been 3 years. But I remember 2020 like it was yesterday, and I still had that kind of familiar feeling, just kind of, ready to get started and see people and learn stuff. And so there was a bit of an excitement and also anxiousness and just not knowing. Yeah. And we had a lot of questions like, oh, I wonder if they're going to have the expo hall like this, or I wonder if they're going to still have the coat check, those kinds of things, which you just don't know. And I think it's similar to years past when you look at it all.
It definitely was.
But different.
It was
the same, but different.
Right. My expectation was I didn't think there would be very many people in attendance. But the attendance was high, I feel, in person. I never got the final number. But it was a lot of people. There was more people than I thought would be traveling to Salt Lake City.
But it wasn't as many people as the last conference.
One. That is true.
So I don't know if that's what the trend is gonna be, or if people were still kind of iffy.
I think it was like a little bit of a test with the attendees and with the vendors.
Yeah.
So I think this year was just a little bit of a test to see, exactly, how it was going to be and how many people would be showing up and if the excitement would still be there like it was, and it definitely was.
Well, there are a lot of things, too, that goes into it, right? We have economic issues in the country. People just don't have the money to spend. on it. When you talk about hotel and flight
and food
and all that stuff, that it can be expensive,
right? Especially when you have the option to do it virtually.
Yeah,
and you get a very similar experience.
Yeah, I would think that because it's virtual and in person, that the total number together is probably blows out 2020 for sure.
Oh, definitely.
So that's
because they said
I think that's not a big deal.
Just registered virtual was upward of 3 million.
Yeah, so it's just a lot of people, which is a good thing. And we'll talk a little bit about virtual here in a minute, but yeah, that's how I've kind of felt about it. So
yeah, I was RootsTech is something that once you've done it and you feel the energy, and it has its own kind of energy, and it's its own little entity.
Let's start with keynote speakers first, and then we'll get into classes.
It was a 3-day event, so there were 3 keynote speakers. The first day was Jordan Sparks from American Idol, the singer, and I thought she was fabulous, and her voice, I mean, it just sounds so good.
So good.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna put a little clip in here. Kind of a little bit of the song that she sang,
because it was part interview, part singing.
We live and we learn, take one step at a time. There's no need to rush. It's like learning to fly or falling in love. It's gotta happen when it's supposed to happen. Yeah, we find the reasons why. One step at a time.
She's just so good. I remember her from American Idol.
She was one of my favorites.
And that girl can sing. And I think I put it on Twitter during the conference. I said, that girl can sing.
She can sing, and her voice still sounds so good. And she just seems so down to earth and so likable. She seems like somebody I would want to hang out with.
Yeah. So she did a really good job. Yeah.
I really enjoyed her. The next day was the photographer, Mira Ko. And she spoke about, how she started her photography. And one of the things that she said that stood out to me was, and our story is everything. She said, all the good, all the pain, everything about us is our story, and we should share it all. And I think that's something that stood with me because, family history is hard work, and I celebrate all of the things that I find and all of the ancestors that I find in their stories. But I don't really talk about, the times when I go to the library and spend hours and don't find any new information. And I get discouraged when that happens. So my story is the good and the bad and the ugly. And I have to be able to embrace it all.
Yeah, and I went through that during RootsTech when we went to the library, and we'll talk about that a little bit too. But the first thing is my fault. I left all of my notebooks and all my information here at home.
But you were focused on getting the podcast stuff.
I was
and
focused
the video
on
stuff,
getting all the tech together, and I just didn't think about it, and I forgot. And we were rushing because we had personal stuff we need to do, and I was still working.
And
it was just a lot.
It was just a lot.
Yeah, it was just a lot. So it was very difficult for me to go to the library and research like I really wanted to. And it just wasn't a good experience for me. Not that the library is bad. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, for me personally, my time there wasn't spent well because of me.
Yeah, you didn't think it was productive.
Yeah, so, but you can't let that discourage me. I'll be back again next year, and I'll make sure I remember all of my my notebooks and notes and stuff.
You so, remember.
Yeah. So who was on the last day? It was Sean Astin, right?
Yes.
Okay, so some of you may know him by name. I certainly didn't. I know him by Rudy from the movie Rudy when he was a Notre Dame football player. That's how I know him. Now, apparently, he was in some other things in
Goonies
and
Lord of the Rings. Rings.
Now, I'm not a Lord of the Rings person, so I've never seen that before. I've seen Goonies, but that was so long ago, I don't even remember him in it.
And he was like 12.
Yeah, but Rudy, it came on, it came out when I was older, and I watch it just about every time I see it
Really?
on TV. Yeah, I mean, I don't sit and watch
I've ever seen the whole movie.
but I do watch it. So anyway, I was kind of happy to see him because he's done a lot of stuff. I just didn't know it.
Yeah, no, I didn't know who he was. They kept saying Rudy, and I never put two and two together that they were talking about that movie. And I've never seen Goonies. If I've seen it, I was too young to remember, and I didn't watch Lord of the Rings. So I had no idea who he was. But I will say that his interview was phenomenal.
Yeah, he was really good.
And then I found out that Patty Duke is his mom. I said they should have led with that because I know Patty Duke. But no, it was phenomenal because his daughter is a family researcher, family historian, and she's been researching their family for a few years now. So he has experience with her doing research and things like that, which I thought was really cool that he has someone in his family that's doing it. And especially someone younger. So yeah, I thought that all the things that he said about his family and her research and everything it was great.
Yeah, it was really good. And one of the things I would be remiss if we didn't talk about the MC for the main stage each day. Mm-hmm. And there were other things going on. It wasn't just like the speaker and that was it. They played some videos. There were sponsors that got up and talked about their services and the things that they do. It's the big money sponsors, right?
Yeah, and the CEO, Family Search CEO.
The CEO of Family Search International, he spoke. So there were other things that were going on with this. Even with Sean Astin on the third day, there was a lady who came and sang.
Yeah, from Encanto, the Disney movie. Encanto, the Disney movie.
Yeah, so I don't know
what is the song, Bruno?
We don't know. I don't know. I've never seen it. Yeah, we don't talk about Bruno. No. Well, you didn't have to sing it. So, so anyway, I'll put a clip in here of that as well because she could sing, really sing too. But she learned about her family and everything, and so that was pretty cool. She didn't know, right? I'm going back there. So along with all of that stuff, there had to be an MC for
the flow,
for the main stage, and his name was Kirby Hayborn. I don't know or remember where he's from. Do you?
I do not remember.
I think he has a show on BYU TV.
Yeah, I was going to say, he has a show on BYU TV. I don't remember the name of it. But of course, BYU TV is in Salt Lake City. Yeah,
and I'm going to look it up and probably watch a show or two of his. But he was really, really good.
He was phenomenal.
I enjoyed it. He did a really good job.
And I got to thinking, who did it the last time? Because I don't remember them. That's how good he was.
Yeah. Did we have an MC?
I'm not sure. I'm sure we probably
sure.
did, but they didn't do. He was great.
Yeah, he was really good, and
because we met him the Wednesday before, the night before everything started, because we had a media event that we went to for influencers, and I knew then that night it was going to be a great show. Yeah,
he was really good, and the thing I liked about him even more than just what he did on the main stage was that during the off periods, he spent time out with the attendees at the conference, doing videos with them. He was taking pictures and doing those kinds of things, and I think people appreciated that. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. He did a phenomenal job, and I just hope they bring it back.
Yeah, so
that I will be going back to watch. That will be on demand. So overall, I'm happy with the sessions that I took and the options that I have and the ones that I have in my playlist.
Yeah,
if all that makes sense.
And there was one class that I wanted to go to, but I missed it because we were doing something else. I may have been working, but
I was doing that interview.
Probably. So I wanted to go to the intro. Oh, it might not have been intro. I think it was podcast. It was a podcast theme class. How to
starting a podcast or get ready and podcast. It was something like that.
And so I missed that, and that's okay. You know, we obviously already know how to podcast, so that wasn't the deal. But I was just going to try to see if I could learn something new. Mm-hmm. But I missed that class. But here's the important thing to know about the classes, okay? Just because RootsTech in person is over doesn't mean RootsTech is over. Like I said earlier, I said RootsTech is not over yet.
No.
And so I say that to say that there are classes that's online at rootstech.org that you can go and watch today. There were some classes that were in person that was recorded for you to watch later and for virtual attendees to go watch. And then there were classes, this is really for the in-person people, there were classes that was virtual and virtual only. They were exclusive to virtual people. And so you could go back and watch that
those,
too.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of classes you can go and watch on demand.
So even if you weren't registered, you can still register for the virtual on-demand sessions. The keynote speakers, you'll be able to see them again.
Do you have to register to see it?
Well,
to see the classes?
You have to register to be able to make a playlist, to be able to watch them. Okay. But it's just your email address, and if you have a Family Search account, then you just use that to get in.
It's free.
It's free.
Yeah, you don't have to pay anything.
But you do have to use your email address.
Yeah.
But the keynote speakers that we just talked about, you can go see those.
Yeah.
The classes, like he said, the ones that were recorded. Because I was in a class and didn't even know that it was going to be recorded until I got there. So I could go back and watch it again if I wanted to. And then there's still information from the last conference that was virtual. They still have a lot of that content still out there available for you to see.
Going all the way back to 2020.
Yes. So there's tons of information, tons of content, and the buzzword was RootsTech 365 because you can literally have access to RootsTech every day of the year if you want to.
That's so true. And then one of the things, and I mentioned this briefly on our last podcast when we kind of gave our kind of first initial thoughts about RootsTech. If you haven't seen or heard that, you can go back and do that on both on YouTube and on a podcast. But the thing that I thought, there were classes that were specific for African American research, which I'm so happy about.
Yes.
I kind of felt like there needed to be a little more.
Yeah.
And I'm talking strictly in person here. Because there's a ton of stuff on virtual. Go watch that stuff. But for in person, I thought that there should be more. And I mean, I'll just tell you that I hope that there are more African Americans who actually attend in person.
Yes.
So that we can get more classes because, you know, we're not going to get more classes if people don't show up. And so that's why we say, you know, hey, if you can attend, you know, start saving now for next year.
Absolutely.
And let people know, let the RootsTech people know that you want more African American research type of classes. So yeah, that was pretty much it for classes, I think. Did we cover everything?
I think
on
we
classes?
did.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk Expo Hall.
Expo Hall, the heartbeat of RootsTech, as it was described by Kirby, was great. There weren't as many vendors, of course, as previous years, which we knew that going into it. But the big name, companies
Most of them.
were there. You had your Ancestry, Family Search, My Heritage, Genealogy Bank,
Family Tree DNA.
Family Tree DNA, Billions of Graves, Find a Grave was there.
So a lot of
Roots
names
Magic.
you're familiar with.
Yes.
were
And then
there.
some societies were there, podcasters, authors were there. So, I mean, it was a good mix of the whole genealogy community.
And there were some small mom and pop
Yes.
type vendors there as well,
Saw some
selling
t-shirts.
their things, and so which is I'm glad to see it.
Right.
For us being small business owners too, I'm glad to see some other
Absolutely.
small businesses because those are important.
They're
too.
important, and it's, not easy to do something like that as a small business owner. So
Yeah.
that was, the expo hall, it was great. And I will say the food options this year were so much better.
Yeah, I would say the same. They had a barbecue place that was pretty good. Then there was some Mexican food, Tex-Mex type food.
Yeah.
And then there was a place with
Rice bowls.
rice bowls that was good. And
And then
then
they had the concession type food.
yeah, so pizza and
Yeah.
sandwiches and that kind of thing. So, I'm pretty happy with the food options. And then you had an option if you didn't want to eat there. There are restaurants close by.
Yeah, I like down the street, around the corner, not far at all.
So yeah, I know I really like the expo hall because there were fewer vendors there. The walkways were much wider, and so you didn't feel like people were just kind of all up on you, and
I was hitting people in my backpack.
yeah, walking on your shoulder. It just felt
More open.
bigger and more open, and I like that.
And I think one of the things that they did was that Central Park area right
Yeah, that
up
was
front.
good.
And that kind of helped open it up and had some additional seating up there. And it just kind of made it more open because
Yeah.
that front part was open.
Yeah, they had and like Trisha said, it's called Central Park, and it was built like a park, and it had green floors
Yeah.
for grass and a walkway, trees, and then it also had the benches for people to sit down and do things. It also had a backdrop for people to take pictures.
Yeah.
And they had a 360 video booth there too. So, which was good, bring something new. I like that.
Yes.
I really did like
Yes.
that area. It was busy at times.
It was busy, but it
was
just
good.
added something even more special to it. I
Yeah,
think.
and they had stuff for, I guess not just for kids or whoever wanted to, but there were oversized chess board and an
checkers.
oversized, I think Connect Four little place where people could go
Play,
and
yeah.
have a good time. So
It was really nice.
yeah, the expo hall was really good. We did a video about the expo hall where we stopped and talked to a few of the vendors. Some of them had show specials still going on. So go back and look at that video. I'll link it somewhere up in here. And you can go and watch it and then kind of learn more about some of the vendors that were there and get a glimpse of who else was there. So definitely go back and take a
Expo
look
Hall
at
was
that.
great.
Yep. Okay, what we got next?
I think what's next is the library.
Yeah, so the library was good. I know I mentioned earlier that I didn't have a very productive session.
A research session.
It was me, not Family Search Library. They did it. They were awesome as usual, but they had a lot of people there. They were giving tours. They were showing people how to research, how to use the computers, and so I know I really liked the expo hall because there were fewer vendors there. the walkways were much wider, and so you didn't feel like people were just kind of all up on you, and
I was seeing people in my backpack.
yeah, walking on your shoulder. It just felt
more open.
yeah, bigger and more open, and I like that.
And I think one of the things that they did was that Central Park area right
Yeah, that
up
was
front,
good.
and that kind of helped open it up and had some additional seating up there, and it just kind of made it more open because that front part was open.
Park, and it was built like a park, and it had green floors for grass and a walkway, trees, and then it also had the benches for people to sit down and do things. It also had a backdrop for people to take pictures, and they had a 360 video booth there too. So, which was good, bring something new. I like that.
Yes.
I really did like that area. It was busy at times.
It was busy, but it
was
just
good.
added something even more special to it. I think.
And they had stuff for, I guess not just for kids or whoever wanted to, but there were oversized chess board and an oversized, I think Connect 4 little place where people could go and have a good time. So
it was really nice.
Yeah, the expo hall was really good. We did a video about the expo hall where we stopped and talked to a few of the vendors. Some of them had show specials still going on. So go back and look at that video. I'll link it somewhere up in here, and you can go and watch it and then kind of learn more about some of the vendors that were there and get a glimpse of who else was there. So definitely go back and take a look at that.
Expo was great.
Yep.
The library.
Yeah, so the library was good. I know I mentioned earlier that I didn't have a very productive session. Again, it was me, not Family Search Library. They did it. They were awesome as usual, but they had a lot of people there they were giving tours. They were showing people how to research, how to use the computers, and they had people. It was good. I mean, I enjoyed it.
I did too.
And they remodeled the first floor from 2020. I think they did it during COVID.
Yeah.
And it was really nice.
Yeah, so they actually had an open house during RootsTech. So that was really cool. And they, like you said, was giving tours and everything. And when I say the staff at the Family Search Library is phenomenal, they are phenomenal.
Yeah, and they had people there that's not necessarily the library workers. They were volunteers, but even those people were very nice, helpful, and was just willing to just do whatever it was we needed to do.
They had extended hours, so they were open later than they normally are. Not as late as they were the last time I was there, but I'm not bitter about that. But they did have extended hours. And so we were able to go to the library after RootsTech to be able to get another 3 or 4 hours of research in, which is really good because if you actually go to RootsTech, you can go to your sessions, learn techniques, and then you can take those techniques right over to the library and look at information. So that's one of the great things about being there in person.
Yep, and the library is just a short walk from the convention center. I think it's just a couple of blocks. And it doesn't take long to get down there. Like Trisha just said, they had people, volunteers with golf carts that were transporting people from the convention center down to the library. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, you definitely don't have to like take a bus or get an Uber or nothing like that. It's definitely walking distance.
Yes.
And if you can't walk far, you got people who can take you down there. And so one of the other things that we did during our trip to the library before RootsTech started, we went a day early. We took some of our videos and movies and slides to digitize them for our personal digital library. So that was fantastic. That
was awesome.
I thoroughly enjoyed that. So we're going to have another video talking about that and showing some of the things that we actually did.
Yeah,
but
it's a new aspect of the library.
Yep, it's called Memory Lane. It's called Memory Lane. And they have all kinds of things there to help you digitize your videos and pictures and stuff, documents. And they have people there to help you as well. So yeah, we'll definitely have a video on that detailing what we did and give you some tips and tricks and things to
it's going to be a good video.
To go. So definitely take advantage of that if you go next year. Just let me get my time schedule reservation first.
Yes, don't take up all the
I'm
slots.
gonna find something somewhere.
Oh, we have plenty. We're not done.
So
we're not done.
Yeah. So anyway, what
so
else?
I think that's really about it. I can't say enough about how much I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Overall, RootsTech was fantastic.
It was absolutely
just like
great.
it always has been. This is our third time going in person.
Yes.
I don't have really a bad thing to say about anything except for how cold it was
in the expo
hall. It was frigid.
It was.
So layer up if you go
Definitely.
next time. It was colder than what I remember.
Yeah.
But RootsTech. Yeah, looking forward to going back.
We'll definitely be going back. And I think we were going to do the same thing.
Oh, I was going to say, speaking of, they did announce at the conference that 2024 will be another hybrid conference, just like it was this year, an in-person and a virtual. Go to virtual if you need to, but I would encourage you, highly encourage you, if you can, start planning now. Get your hotel, do everything that you need to do, start looking at flights. Well, it's kind of early for flights. But anyway, the point is start planning early. The conference is February 29th through March 2nd.
Yes, 2024.
Salt Lake City, Utah, Salt Palace Convention Center.
We hope to see you there.
Yeah, it will be a good time. We will, of course, be there, and we'll be doing our podcast and video and pictures and Twitter and all that good stuff.
We actually met some of our listeners.
Oh, yes, we did.
We
So,
did.
okay, so I'm glad you mentioned that. Okay, so there was a lady
I'm sorry to get your name.
Yes, we did not get your name. There was a lady that we saw her while we were in line and to get lunch.
Yes.
And she stopped us, and we had a quick conversation. And then on our way out Sunday to the airport, we saw her in the elevator. Well, we don't know if that was her husband, but that's what I'm saying. We saw her.
Okay, I'm sorry.
But anyway, we saw her in the elevator again, and we got to take a picture. So I want to say, if you are watching us
or listening
right now, it was good seeing you, meeting you, and chit-chatting.
Yes, and thank you for stopping us.
Please go to our Facebook page and send us a Facebook message because I did not get your name, and I'm so sorry for that, but I wanted to give you a shout-out. So if you can do that, and I will give you your shout out on the next podcast that we do,
which is going to be the Family Search.
Yeah, but we did see some people there too, so that was
super exciting.
That was really good.
So thank you guys. Anybody who came up to us or has listened to us and recognized us, it was great meeting you.
Yeah, it was good. So I think that's probably about it. Really appreciate you guys for watching and listening. We're so excited to be bringing you more content.
Yes.
We're getting our YouTube channel back going. So as you can probably tell, over the past few weeks, we've done more videos. So if you are not currently subscribed, please subscribe on YouTube and hit the notification bell so that you will be notified the next time that we release a video. We also are on social media. We have Facebook, Twitter, Trisha's website, journeythroughthegenerations.com. And then we also have the podcast, so you can find our podcast on wherever you listen to podcasts: Apple, Google, Spotify, all of the rest of them. So thank you so much. All that information will be down in the description box of this episode. All right.
All right. Thanks, you
All
guys.
right. Y'all take care. Peace.